Recently, studies and widely circulated reports have come out depicting Boston and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as a region with very serious wealth gaps, especially when it comes to communities of color. One initiative that has been created to address one aspect of this problem is Eastern Bank's Business Equity Initiative. Through the new initiative, Eastern Bank is stepping up with a 3-year commitment totaling $10 million to mitigate growing inequality by focusing on growing enterprises of color by leveraging Eastern's networks and philanthropic dollars. This initiative will begin with Black and Latino businesses because research shows that this is where the inequities and wealth gap is the greatest. To tell us more about this unprecedented initiative, its executive director joins us this morning. Welcome to Urban Update, Glynn Lloyd. Thanks for coming in.
Great to be here.
Glynn, this really sounds great, but just sort of take me through the basics of why there is a need for this.
Yes, unfortunately, the report came out a couple years back that you referred to from the Federal Reserve, highlighting that net worth among white families compared to black families is somewhere in the $250,000 range to $8, and similarly in the Latino families. And so we have a serious issue here, and actually it's been getting worse historically. And recently, reports have come out around the income inequality. I think we're the greatest income inequality city in the country. And I think just recently, even this morning, they talked about Black and Latino women and where they sit in terms of 50 cents to the dollar. So this is an ongoing and increasing issue, and we feel we've created a kind of a mousetrap to help mitigate that.
Now, how did Eastern Bank go about making this all happen?
Well, this actually comes through the Eastern Bank Charitable Foundation, and Eastern Bank, as a mutual bank, they actually do a lot of good things because they're taking a high percentage of their profits and donate them, and they've doubled down and investing even more resources into this particular topic. And so what they've done, actually, we've founded a new foundation called the Foundation for Business Equity, and that's where I sit.
Okay. Now, talk to me a little about some of the details about the specific resources that you're looking to bring to the table for some of these small businesses, because the focus is small business, correct?
That's absolutely correct. And typically, we call them success factors that businesses really need to grow. And we're focusing, as you mentioned, on Black and Latino businesses. And one of those factors is talent. And what we've done is we've recruited strategic advisors who have experience of being successful at growing businesses. And we literally get them to commit, and they embed themselves within the minority business for up to a year, almost a year and a half. And what the foundation does, we help subsidize that cost. Additionally, we also have a pot of money set aside to help with infrastructure. So as those companies need to invest in their company, we help subsidize that also. And then finally, we work on the ecosystem around these businesses, which involves growth capital and involves the demand and the market side, which we can talk more about.
Well, the first part, the direct service provider, is that the individual that you would try to put in there?
Right. Well, that would be the strategic advisor. Really,
advisor.
What we're trying to do is we have.
You pay the salary?
Correct. We pay 80%, and we ask the company to pay 20% to have some skin in the game.
And this person would do what?
They do a couple things initially. They do a full assessment of the company, and then they co-create a strategic growth plan with the entrepreneurial team, and that becomes the guidepost for all of us to really help push that company to really accelerate their sales.
And the growth capital opportunities is what? This is the second point you talked about?
Right. So that's part of the ecosystem. Correct. So we've actually partnered with the Boston Foundation, who has graciously agreed to host the Growth Fund, and we're taking a chunk of that $10 million and incubating a growth fund, which provides growth capital for these types of companies.
And the third part, the Pace Center, which is the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce, is that?
Correct, and that's another partner that we've been happy to partner with, and they've just recently announced their launch of the Pace Center initiative, where they're taking some of their members, corporate members, to commit to buying more products and services from minority companies.
How does a business qualify for this help, and what are the basic steps?
That's a great question. So basically, we're trying to find more established companies that have kind of hit the ceiling on growth, and these are companies that are around $1 million in sales, and Black and Latino led, as we talked about, and who are in Eastern Mass or Southern New Hampshire, and really positioned to grow. That they have there's a track record there, they're in the right kind of sector, and we really want to help them accelerate their growth.
So you're talking about an established business, but just giving them that little extra expertise to move to the next level is what you're talking about.
That's correct. It's we have a bunch of tools in the toolbox, and frankly, a lot of businesses, wherever they're at, you got to kind of customize the approach. And that's what we've done. We have a holistic kind of set of tools and a customized approach to each business to really take them where they need to go and then where they want to go.
Now, what does the selection process look like?
We've been very deliberate around that. So we have a selection committee, which I'm a non-voting member, but and they fill out an application. It's an open enrollment, so folks can actually go to the website now if you're listening and you're interested and apply. And we bring you in if you pass these kind of 4 requirements, and you go through an interview process. We rate the process, and then we select.
How long does the process generally take?
On the selection process, that's usually 2 to 3 months.
Okay. Now, is there a business model that the initiative is based on?
Well, actually, we discovered an initiative out of Cincinnati called the Minority Business Accelerator, and it so happens that doing some pretty amazing work down there. So yes, and they actually work through the chamber, where they have corporate goal setters who are spending a lot of money into the minority business community.
Okay. Well, we're talking about, I guess, the type of businesses. I guess it's really any kind of business, or is there a certain profile that you're looking about in terms of
we're sector agnostic, and so we have all kinds of, from hospitality to logistics to facilities to technology. So we're looking at all kinds of businesses.
Now, have you started the process with many businesses yet, or you're still looking for that first one?
So we're happy to say that we started our first cohort in July of 2017. So we're about 7 months into it, and we have a new cohort number 2 starting in February in a couple of weeks.
Oh. So what do you, and these businesses, like these owners of these businesses, what do you want to see from them? What should they be saying, when this process is over? What do you?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of highlights. I mean, one is the importance of strategy. And so what we bring to the table in a lot of ways is we really want to make sure that the right strategy is in place. And the other one is networks and relationships. What we've decided to go deeper with fewer. I mean, you see a lot of programs out there, but we really want to get to know each other so we can actually add value and open up our networks to the folks. And so at the end of the day, we'd love to say, as one of our success stories, say, look, I've doubled my sales in X amount of years based on the resources that have come through the initiative.
And how competitive is it? I mean, how many are you able to do? Like 1 or 2 of these a year, 5 or 10? I mean, how?
We're trying to do about 2 cohorts a year.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add at all? It sounds fascinating.
No, if folks, there's all different ways to get involved. But one, if you check out our website and find out more.
Yeah, and I also think it's fascinating that Eastern Bank is really taking, just taking the reins and moving on an initiative like this.
Yeah, I got to give kudos to Eastern Bank, who not only talked the talk, but actually put the money behind it.
Okay, all right, and we'll leave it right there. Glynn, Lloyd, the very, very interesting program we got going on, the Business Equity Initiative under the umbrella of Eastern Bank. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
Okay, good luck. All right. The battle against homelessness with a unique event held outside in the middle of the winter. More details coming up right here on Urban Update.